Kamchatka, located at the remote eastern tip of Russia, is a land full of mystery and wonder, encompassing dramatic landscapes, from the towering presence of active volcanoes to vast tundras and bubbling hot springs. This isolated peninsula often feels like something out of a fantastical world. But Kamchatka is more than just a place of awe-inspiring natural beauty. It's a land where ancient traditions, spiritual practices, and a deep reverence for the natural world continue to shape the lives of its inhabitants. In Kamchatka, the relationship between people and nature is sacred. Volcanoes are seen as living entities, guarding the land with their fiery presence. Brown bears, often viewed as spiritual protectors, roam the wilderness, embodying the strength of the land. And the hot springs, steaming with the Earth's volcanic heat, are believed to hold miraculous healing powers, sacred spaces for purification and connection with the spirits. In this video, we'll delve into 3 of the most fascinating and lesser-known aspects of Kamchatka's culture and environment. From sacred rituals surrounding volcanoes to the deep spiritual significance of brown bears and the healing powers of the region's thermal rivers, Kamchatka presents a world where every natural element is honored with utmost respect. Stick with us until the end, as we'll reveal one last fascinating fact that might surprise you. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Welcome to World Marvels. 10. The role of women in Kamchatka. Kamchatka's women hold a pivotal role in maintaining the region's cultural and spiritual practices. In the indigenous communities of Kamchatka, such as the Idlemen, Koryaks, and even women are seen as the heart and soul of the family and the community. They are the keepers of traditions, passing down sacred knowledge and stories that have been handed down for generations. In many ways, the women of Kamchatka are the guardians of their people's heritage. They are deeply involved in spiritual practices and rituals, particularly those related to fertility, family life, and the harvest. For instance, ceremonies surrounding planting and harvest are often led by women, who bless the land and ensure the well-being of the community's future. But the role of women in Kamchatka extends beyond rituals. Indigenous women are also revered for their skills in crafting, healing, and food preparation. Their knowledge of medicinal plants and natural remedies is passed down through the generations and remains an essential part of everyday life. In a region as remote as Kamchatka, this traditional knowledge is often the difference between survival and hardship, and women are at the forefront of preserving it. However, despite the ongoing influence of traditional customs, modernity has begun to shape the lives of Kamchatka's women. With the increasing presence of tourism and the global shift towards modernization, women in Kamchatka are faced with the challenge of balancing ancient traditions with new ways of life. Yet, even as the landscape of Kamchatka evolves, the role of women in preserving cultural practices remains as vital as ever. 9. Sacred volcanoes. Kamchatka is known as the land of volcanoes. The region is home to more than 160 volcanoes, with at least 30 of them still active. These volcanic giants shape not only the physical landscape but also the spiritual and cultural life of the indigenous people. For them, volcanoes are not merely natural formations. They are living, breathing entities, spirits that require respect, reverence, and careful attention. The volcanoes of Kamchatka are believed to be guardians of the land, capable of both offering protection and exacting punishment. This relationship with the land's volcanoes goes back thousands of years. The Idlemen, Koryaks, and even among the many indigenous peoples who call Kamchatka home, believe that the volcanoes are powerful spiritual forces that control the well-being of the community. It is not uncommon for shamans to perform rituals before undertaking any activity near a volcano, whether it is hunting, gathering, or traveling through volcanic terrain. These rituals, often involving chanting, dancing, and offerings of food or symbolic objects, are meant to ask for permission to approach the volcano and for protection from the potentially destructive forces of nature. The volcanoes are not seen as merely dangerous. They are understood to have a will and consciousness that can either safeguard or punish those who cross their paths. Any disrespect or failure to follow the proper rituals is believed to result in catastrophic consequences, such as eruptions or earthquakes. While the connection between the people and the volcanoes remains strong, modern tourism is presenting new challenges. As more and more tourists flock to Kamchatka to witness the beauty and power of its volcanic landscapes, there is an increasing risk of these sacred traditions being overlooked or forgotten. Many visitors, unaware of the local customs, approach the volcanoes without respect for the spiritual significance they hold. This has sparked tension between indigenous communities, who strive to preserve their traditions, and the tourism industry, which is often driven by economic gain. Yet, despite these modern-day challenges, the volcanoes of Kamchatka continue to stand as symbols of strength and spiritual power, reminding us of the deep connection between humanity and the natural world. 8. The spiritual significance of brown bears. Kamchatka's brown bears are legendary, not only for their immense size but for their spiritual significance. The region is home to one of the largest populations of brown bears in the world, and for the indigenous people, these creatures are far more than wild animals. They are spiritual guardians of the land. For the Idlemen, Koryaks, and other indigenous groups of Kamchatka, bears are seen as protectors of the natural world, embodying the strength and wisdom of the wilderness. Local folklore suggests that the bears have a unique ability to communicate with the spirit world, acting as intermediaries between humans and the gods. This deep connection has led to a variety of myths and legends that associate the bear with human ancestors, offering protection and guidance in times of need. The hunting of bears is a common practice in Kamchatka, particularly among the indigenous peoples, who rely on the animal for its fur, meat, and other resources. However, bear hunting is never taken lightly. The hunt is surrounded by spiritual rituals, where hunters offer prayers to the bear's spirit, thanking it for the sacrifice and asking for forgiveness. This practice is seen not as a simple act of survival but as a deeply spiritual event. It is believed that the bear's spirit must be respected, and any form of disrespect, either before or after the hunt, could bring misfortune to the entire community. Disrespecting the bear, whether by speaking ill of it, mishandling its remains, or breaking the sacred rules surrounding the hunt, is considered a grave offense. According to the beliefs of Kamchatka's indigenous peoples, any violation of these rules can lead to misfortune, such as bad weather, poor harvests, or even illness. In this way, the bear serves as a constant reminder of the interconnectedness of all life and the need to live in balance with nature. But despite the respect shown to the bears, the rapid encroachment of tourism and human development threatens their habitats. The rise of ecotourism has led to more people seeking to get close to these majestic animals, sometimes ignoring local customs and creating friction between modernity and tradition. Despite these challenges, the brown bear remains an essential symbol of Kamchatka's wilderness and the spiritual relationship the indigenous people share with the natural world. 7. The healing waters of Kamchatka. Kamchatka is blessed with a vast array of hot springs, many of which are located near the region's active volcanoes. These thermal waters are not only a geological wonder, but also a spiritual treasure for the indigenous people of Kamchatka. For them, the hot springs are sacred places, believed to hold powerful healing properties for both the body and the spirit. The hot springs are rich in minerals, and locals have used them for centuries to treat a variety of ailments, from joint pain to skin diseases. The healing properties of the waters are not merely physical. They are also seen as a means of spiritual purification. The people of Kamchatka believe that the hot springs are a direct manifestation of the power of the land's volcanoes, gifts from the spirits that offer physical and emotional renewal. Before entering the hot springs, it is customary for locals to perform a ritual of gratitude, offering flowers, herbs, or small symbolic objects to the spirits of the land. This act is meant to honor the spirits that protect the waters and ensure their healing properties remain potent. For the people of Kamchatka, it is essential to approach the hot springs with respect, as they are considered sacred. There are strict taboos associated with the hot springs, one of the most important being the prohibition against disturbing the natural tranquility of the area. Loud noises, littering, or engaging in any form of disrespectful behavior is believed to anger the spirits and can result in illness or misfortune. Another taboo is that visitors should enter the springs only in a calm, peaceful state. Anger, stress, or negative emotions are thought to contaminate the waters, rendering them less effective in their healing. As tourism to Kamchatka has increased, these sacred sites have become more accessible to outsiders. However, the influx of visitors has created challenges in maintaining the integrity of the spiritual practices tied to the hot springs. Many visitors, unfamiliar with the customs, unknowingly violate the taboos and disrupt the harmony that is central to the healing process. Despite these challenges, the hot springs remain a powerful symbol of the spiritual connection between the people of Kamchatka and the land they call home. 6. The ancient rituals of shamanism. Shamanism is a core element of Kamchatka's indigenous culture, deeply ingrained in the spiritual and daily life of the people. For thousands of years, shamans have served as intermediaries between the physical world and the spirit realm. These spiritual leaders are believed to possess the ability to communicate with the spirits of the land, including those inhabiting the volcanoes, animals, and natural elements. Shamans perform a wide range of rituals, from healing ceremonies to rites of passage and fertility blessings. One of their most significant roles is to provide guidance and protection for their communities, ensuring the balance between human life and the natural world. These rituals are not only seen as spiritual acts, but also as essential for maintaining the harmony and well-being of the community. The rituals themselves are often elaborate, involving sacred chants, drumming, and the use of ritual objects such as herbs, crystals, and animal skins. The shaman enters a trance-like state, sometimes aided by the consumption of certain plants or substances, allowing them to access the spiritual world and communicate with the spirits. During these trances, the shaman may receive visions or messages from the spirits, providing guidance on everything from the health of the community to the proper way to interact with the land and animals. While shamanism remains a powerful tradition in Kamchatka, the practice faces significant challenges in the modern world. The increasing encroachment of tourism, the spread of new religious beliefs, and the global move towards modernization have all created pressures on the continuation of shamanic practices. Yet, despite these challenges, shamans continue to play an important role in maintaining the spiritual well-being of the people and preserving the ancient traditions of Kamchatka. 5. The connection between Kamchatka's rivers and spiritual life. Kamchatka's rivers are not just physical features of the landscape. They are central to the region's spiritual life. The indigenous people view these rivers as sacred pathways, vital not only for the physical survival of the community, but for maintaining spiritual harmony. The rivers are often seen as symbolic connectors between the human world and the world of the spirits, and they play a central role in various rituals. One of the most important rituals involving rivers is the offering of respect before crossing or using the waters. It is customary for individuals to make offerings to the river spirits, such as flowers, small food items, or other symbolic objects, before entering the water. This is done to ensure safe passage and to show respect for the spirits that protect the rivers. Beyond practical considerations, rivers also represent life and renewal. They are often linked to fertility rituals, as the flow of water is seen as a metaphor for the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Indigenous ceremonies are performed along the banks of the rivers to ensure prosperity and the well-being of the community. These rivers, teeming with life, are revered not just for their physical presence, but for their spiritual significance. As with many other natural elements in Kamchatka, the rise of tourism poses a risk to these sacred practices. Many visitors, unaware of the local customs, may disturb the peace of the rivers, breaking taboos and risking the wrath of the spirits. However, despite these challenges, the rivers of Kamchatka continue to flow as vital, sacred lifelines, nourishing both the land and the people who depend on them. 4. The impact of climate change on Kamchatka's natural balance. While Kamchatka is a land that has remained relatively untouched by modern civilization, even it is not immune to the effects of climate change. The changing climate is beginning to impact the region's delicate balance between nature and human life, with consequences that threaten both the environment and the indigenous cultures that rely on it. Rising temperatures have already caused shifts in the local ecosystem. Melting glaciers and changing weather patterns are altering the behavior of animals, including migrating species that depend on specific environmental conditions. The melting permafrost is also releasing large amounts of carbon into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming and further accelerating the environmental changes. These changes are not just ecological, they are cultural as well. Indigenous communities who have lived in Kamchatka for thousands of years have always had a deep, intimate relationship with the land and its animals. Now, with the disruption of seasonal patterns and the migration of species, traditional hunting practices and other cultural rituals are at risk. For example, the decline in salmon populations due to warmer river temperatures has had a direct impact on indigenous food sources and traditional fishing practices. Despite these challenges, the people of Kamchatka remain resilient. Many communities are working to adapt to the changes, integrating modern conservation techniques with their traditional knowledge to protect the land and preserve their cultural heritage. 3. Kamchatka's remote and untouched ecosystem. Kamchatka is one of the most ecologically unique regions in the world. Its isolation and limited human population have allowed it to remain relatively untouched by industrialization and urbanization. This means that the region's wildlife, ecosystems, and natural landscapes are in a pristine state, an anomaly in a world increasingly shaped by human activity. One of the most notable features of Kamchatka is its biodiversity. The peninsula is home to a variety of species that are found nowhere else on Earth, including rare plants, marine life, and animal species such as the Kamchatka brown bear. The combination of volcanic activity, tundra, and coastal ecosystems provides a variety of habitats that support a rich and diverse range of life. However, this delicate balance is at risk. With increasing interest from tourists and industries seeking to exploit the natural resources of the region, Kamchatka's ecosystems face new threats. The growing demand for natural resources, including fishing and mining, has led to increased human activity, threatening the very biodiversity that has allowed Kamchatka to remain so unique. Efforts are underway to preserve the environment, with local and international conservation groups working to protect Kamchatka's ecosystems. However, the region's remote location, combined with economic pressures, makes conservation a constant struggle. Despite these challenges, Kamchatka remains a vital reminder of what an untouched and thriving ecosystem looks like. 2. The enigmatic volcanoes of Kamchatka. Kamchatka's volcanoes are iconic, and not just because of their sheer size and activity. More than 160 volcanoes dot the region's landscape, creating one of the most impressive and dangerous volcanic areas in the world. Of these, at least 30 remain active, spewing ash and lava, creating a dynamic, ever-changing terrain. But for the indigenous peoples of Kamchatka, these volcanoes are much more than geological features. They are deeply entwined with their spiritual beliefs and rituals. The volcanoes are seen as living entities, spirits that watch over the land, capable of offering protection or unleashing fury. The local belief is that the volcanoes possess their own will and can communicate with the people who live nearby. According to tradition, every interaction with a volcano must be preceded by a shamanic ritual to ask for permission to approach and ensure the safety of the people. These rituals may include offerings of food, songs, and prayers, which serve both as an act of respect and a plea for harmony between the volcanoes and human life. Indigenous people believe that the volcanoes hold the power to control natural events like eruptions, earthquakes, and even weather patterns. As a result, they have developed a unique relationship with these fiery giants, one based on respect, fear, and awe. Every eruption is seen not just as a natural disaster, but as a direct consequence of human interaction with the volcano's spirit. When these natural events occur, people interpret them through a spiritual lens, believing that the volcanoes react to human actions, either rewarding respect or punishing disrespect. While the traditions surrounding the volcanoes have remained strong, the rise in tourism and the exploration of these majestic sites have posed challenges. Visitors, often unaware of the cultural importance of the volcanoes, come to take photographs and experience the raw power of the land without adhering to the sacred protocols. As more people travel to Kamchatka, there is a growing risk of these ancient customs being diluted, leading to potential tension between preserving cultural integrity and catering to global demand for exploration. 1. Kamchatka's untouched wilderness. Kamchatka is one of the most pristine and untouched places left on Earth. This remote Russian peninsula, bordered by the Pacific Ocean and the Bering Sea, remains a largely unexplored wilderness. Its natural beauty, rugged landscapes, and diverse ecosystems have been preserved by its isolation, which has helped Kamchatka maintain an extraordinary ecological balance. The sheer remoteness of Kamchatka, combined with its sparse population of under 300,000 people, has allowed its ecosystems to flourish without the interference of large-scale industrialization. The region is home to some of the world's rarest and most incredible wildlife, including brown bears, sea otters, and a variety of seabirds. The volcanic mountains and geothermal activity have created unique habitats, with hot springs and mineral-rich rivers feeding the land and sustaining these species. Kamchatka's rivers, lakes, and forests remain largely untouched, creating one of the most spectacular natural landscapes anywhere in the world. The biodiversity here is unmatched in many ways, with countless species of plants and animals thriving in an environment that has barely been altered by human activity. Kamchatka offers a glimpse into what our planet looked like before urbanization and modern development, an almost unspoiled wilderness, where nature reigns supreme. The remote nature of the peninsula has helped preserve not only its environment but also the ancient cultures that call it home. For centuries, the indigenous peoples of Kamchatka, such as the Idlemen, Koryaks, and even have lived in harmony with the land. They rely on the natural world for their survival, practicing sustainable hunting, fishing, and farming methods that have been passed down through generations. However, this delicate balance is threatened by external factors like climate change, rising tourism, and the extraction of natural resources. The preservation of Kamchatka's wilderness is crucial, not only for the indigenous cultures that depend on it, but for the future of the world's natural heritage. Kamchatka remains one of the few places on Earth where the beauty and raw power of nature still dominate. But how long can this wilderness remain untouched? With the growing interest in Kamchatka as a tourist destination and its natural resources being eyed for exploitation, the region faces increasing pressures. The challenge will be to protect this ecological treasure while maintaining the traditional way of life of its indigenous peoples. For now, Kamchatka stands as a testament to the strength of the natural world and the urgent need to preserve it for future generations. Kamchatka is a place where the natural world and the spiritual realm are intricately connected. From the sacred volcanoes and revered brown bears to the life-giving rivers and healing waters, the indigenous people of Kamchatka have long lived in harmony with their environment, guided by traditions that honor the forces of nature. These practices, shaped over millennia, continue to be a cornerstone of life in this remote region, reflecting a worldview that emphasizes balance, respect, and interconnection. Yet, as Kamchatka becomes more accessible to the outside world, the region faces challenges in preserving its cultural practices and delicate ecosystems. The growth of tourism, climate change, and the encroachment of modernity all pose significant threats to the traditions that have sustained Kamchatka's indigenous communities. In order to protect this land and its way of life, it's crucial that visitors understand and respect the customs and beliefs that have kept Kamchatka's unique balance intact for centuries. Now, after learning about the mystical beauty and cultural richness of Kamchatka, what do you think is the most fascinating aspect of this mysterious land? Do you think these ancient traditions can survive in a rapidly changing world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of the most unique and sacred places on Earth. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to World Marvels for more extraordinary stories from around the globe. Until next time, take care, and never stop exploring the wonders of our world.